And welcome back to Dawn. It is the 10th annual Goals for Giving Hockey Benefit coming up later this month. And here to tell us more about it, Senator Joe Rox, Chairman and CEO of NHS, and Brian Propp, Philadelphia Flyers alumnus. It's so good to have you both here.
Great.
We've known each other a long time.
We have, Dawn. Great to be with you.
It's great to see you, and it's amazing that NHS, how many tens of thousands of people you help across, what is it, 6, 7 states?
7 states now, and about to be 8, but we employ just over 150,000, 10,500 people, operate out of about 650 facilities, and in a year, this year, 40,000 children and adults will be within our care.
And for you, Brian, I mean, you're a biggity big famous hockey player and a big name in the area, and everybody loves and knows you. I know that you do a lot of charitable work. Why NHS?
I developed a love of NHS about 6 years ago with Senator Rox. So we met on the golf course, can you believe that? And we started talking about NHS and the foundation, and I really loved what they were doing for their different programs that they have there. And I gravitated toward the foundation board where Mike Mitchell has been running that, and he does a fabulous job. We've got a great board of people, but really being able to help NHS to raise funds that are so needed today really has been my top charity over the last 6 years.
Yeah, which is wonderful, and you raise so much money. We have so many pictures, I think, of past events, and tell me about what people can expect for the event when they go to see it.
Goals for Giving, well, it's our 10th year, so we're excited, but we expect to raise $100,000.
And you see the silent auction there. So, I mean, here you have the flyers, all the memorabilia. If you're a fan or if you're buying for a fan, this is the place to be.
It's a great place to be, and Chris Dutton has started this 10 years ago from Linton's Managed Services. He's also on the foundation board, and from the start to where we are now for the game on March 23rd, the awareness that this show will bring to it. We have virtual teams where people are donating to our virtual teams. I know that I'm trying to beat Chris Dutton, so go to my brianpropp.com website and sign up for my team, because I need to bump up my money that I'm raising for NHS. And the money really goes to a lot of different areas throughout NHS where there are a lot of needs, but the hockey game is fabulous, and people should try to get there. The tickets aren't that expensive, and Chris Dutton's team, coached by Senator Rox, has had a little trouble winning so far, but they feel this year it's going to be a little better.
They've never won, right?
No, but this year, look out.
How competitive does it get here?
It gets very competitive. But, and Brian is just such a great foundation member, and as he said, our board has been fantastic as it's grown. But more important than that, for this event, Brian brings out the Flyers alumni. And
can you name some names?
Joe Watson.
Joe Watson still skates. We play about 8 or 10 charity games a year. Joe Watson is there. Bob DeHound Kelly, Ray Allison, Andre Faust. You've got Terry Karkner has been coming out with the Flyers. Todd Fedoruk, who works with the Flyers now. We're bringing in some young guns because they've still got some pretty good legs, and as they're bumping up their team, we're also looking at strategizing with our team.
But the whole foundation effort, and thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity. But, when you look at 40,000 lives that range from addictions to autism services, we have 17 autism schools that we now own.
Which is incredible. Yes. It's an epidemic in our country.
And we're about to open our 18th in Center City, Philadelphia. But what we do in intellectual disabilities and those services, foster care, where we have our own families that we train and have brought in. And that array of services, well, when public funding falls off, it's this foundation that is the safety net.
Well, and that's what we just heard Brendan McKee talk about in the previous segment, that the budget's out and we're dealing with some budget deficit issues, and so those kinds of services do get cut off, and so that's the point where NHS steps in and really, gives that much needed help, not only to tens of thousands of children, but also, like you said, the adults who need help and the caregivers. And that's when you're talking about the foster families, that's really a caregiver situation, which ultimately saves the taxpayers a ton of money.
Yeah, and look, we're one of the largest in this nation. We are aware of that for sure, but you employ over 10,000 people. To keep pace with what their needs are in terms of their health care benefits and, what we try to provide for them in an income, a salary. These are very strange people that work for me. I mean, they've got mortgages, they've got tuitions, they've got car payments, and, to keep that pace is very important to carry out the mission.
And you know what I would say to people when you're, obviously you want to go to an event like this, especially if you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and who isn't, right? Because you're right up close, you get to see all of your idols. But also, it's a chill bump there are chill bump moments where you just feel so much like you're a part of the solution and you're really helping people. And so I just give that to people as well, that there are many other reasons to go to this event or support this event.
Well, two highlights of the event have become, we do get to feature a large number of our consumers, and they come out, and in some ways they're participants for sure. Then afterwards, there's an after party at Chicky and Pete's, and the Flyers all come. I mean, Brian just herds those guys all in, so they hang out for a couple of hours with a fan base, and
over some good crab fries, right?
Yeah, so there's lots of good food at Chickies and Pete's, and that's on the Roosevelt Boulevard after the game.
Okay.
And don't miss the fact, I love every one of our sports teams in Philadelphia. I'm born here and I breathe them, but this Flyer alumni, they are give back guys to the extent that this Delaware Valley area is so blessed to have them for the givers that they are.
For you, what's your favorite part of the event? I know it takes a year of planning, but for you, Brian, what's your favorite part of this event every year?
Every year we usually have a team of other players that come out, and over the last couple of years it's been some autistic children coming out and skating with them, and really being in the middle of seeing how NHS really helps a lot of the autistic schools, the IDD people, getting to know them and actually feel it and know that we're actually raising the money to really make a difference in the lives of those children and people. That's the biggest part that I really enjoy. It's always fun getting together with our alumni, but when you really understand the value of what NHS does, it really makes you want to participate even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have more with you in just a moment, but we want to give everybody this information. So it's the 10th annual Goals for Giving, Sunday, March 23rd. Mark your calendar, Flyers Skate Zone. It's 1:30 to 3:30, and we'll be right back with more. Back here on the Dawn Show with Brian Propp, Senator Joe Rocks, Flyers alumnus, obviously, and we're talking about NHS. Which is, tell me quickly about some of the specific services and success stories that you have with NHS. I know it's a lot, but give me one or two.
Sure. First and foremost, you get 40,000 at-risk lives in your charge.
Of all ages.
Of all ages. I mean, we go from underage 1 up until elder care, which we do a lot of. But these lives are so fragile, and you cannot expect to have a win every day of your life. But one of the things that I think carries us on at NHS are the number of success stories that we have, and the families that come to us and say, without you, okay, our family member would never be where they are. A move toward independent living, big change in our industry around mental health and behavioral health and addictions in particular, to a recovery model of care. Whereas, a decade ago, our charge was to maintain and keep people safe. Now, it is expected of us that we lead people to a more independent lifestyle and recovery. And that means, employment to some extent, but certainly everything else that we have to provide.
And for you, Brian, I know that you mentioned like some of the autistic kids who come to the event, and it's inspirational. Talk to me a little bit about the Goals for Giving event and what people can expect.
The Goals for Giving event is Northeast Skate Zone, starting at 1:30 on March 23rd. We are playing against Chris Dunton's, Linton's Managed Services team, the NHS Blue team.
Who's hoping for a win for the first time.
It's always a fun time, but it's raising the funds, and a lot of it is really creating that atmosphere and the branding so that people will understand what NHS does in the 7 different states and how many people they do touch every year. It's a lot of fun, and then the after party where people can mill around and talk to all of our Flyer alumni. And our Flyer alumni, they're also donating money back to NHS, as I'm kind of forcing them to a little bit, and get Dave Schultz to kind of stand over their head and say, come on, you guys, give a little money back. And but really, it's the awareness and the branding of NHS, and as NHS continues to grow, we are going to need more and more people that are understanding the value that they're bringing to the communities and getting more support from more types of people.
And does Senator Rock's team have a chance this year?
No.
We'll see. We'll be there.
We'll see. We'll be there. You be there. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dawn,
I sure
so much.
appreciate all that
Brian,
you do in the
thanks for
community.
all you
Thank you,
do.
Brian. Thank you, Senator. And
Thanks,
thank
Dawn.
you for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow right here on The Dawn Show. I hope you make it a great one.